Us musicians all have an addiction. It's not drugs, it's not alcohol, it's buying gear. We all do it. No matter how much gear we have, whether we have dozens of guitars, dozens of amps, every bit of equipment we want, microphones, outboard gear, if we've got everything we could possibly need to make great music, it's still not enough. We still need at least one more piece of gear. We still chase that elusive piece of gear that we have to get our hands on to make us happy. And then once we get it, another piece of gear pops up and we've got to chase that one as well in order to fulfill our happiness. And it just keeps on going until the end of time. If we could afford it, we'd all have hundreds of guitars, hundreds of amps, every microphone, everything you could possibly imagine under the sun. We would somehow find a way to buy it and feel like we need it. Don't worry, if you're like this, you are definitely not alone. So one thing I do most of the time when I first log onto my PC on a morning is check out my favourite guitar stores, sort of see what new gear has popped up, whether it's new gear being released or new gear being traded in. I like to just basically see what is floating about in the market right now. Even if I can't afford it, I still like to sort of check things out and see what is going on in the music world. And then maybe if the right piece of gear pops up at the right price, I will just make it happen even if I can't afford it. I am just on an everlasting quest to find the perfect piece of gear, and so far I have not found it. And like me, there'll be certain pieces of gear that you're checking out every day, whether you're looking for the right Gibson Les Paul, you're looking for the right Strat, there's a certain amp you want, and you're looking all around trying to find it at the right price. I do exactly the same thing as you. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 5 pieces of gear that I'm looking at that I definitely need in my life right now, even though I probably don't. So kicking things off at number 5 is the Bernie MG145 yellow heart guitar. So this guitar is the signature model from Hide from the band X Japan. It's so nice. I love it so much. A lot of people won't like it. It's probably one of those you either love it or you hate it type guitars. But it is basically a made in Japan Bernie Mockingbird, so BC Rich copy in yellow with the red hearts on it. And it's just so iconic, especially when you think of Japanese rock and X Japan in general. Now Hide unfortunately passed away in 1998, and this guitar is still made to this day, 20 years later, almost 21 years later at the time of filming this. This guitar is still made and is amongst one of the most popular guitars sold in Japan, and especially for the Fernandez/Bernie brand. Now I actually own one of his signature models already. This is the Fernandez/Bernie MG80X. They've made various variations of it over the year, from the 70X, 80X, 100X, and now most recently the 120X. This is a mahogany body, maple neck, rosewood fretboard, and it's got an active EMG in the bridge and a passive Fernandez owned super distortion copy in the neck. This guitar is so nice, and it's one of my favourite guitars to play out of my whole collection. Now the annoying thing is, like most made in Japan guitars, you can't actually buy them here in the West. You've got to import them directly from Japan. Now these do actually float around quite frequently on Yahoo auctions and other Japanese stores such as Ishibashi. It is generally a guitar that's pretty easy to find, but obviously you've got the shipping cost, which can run up about £100. Then you've got the custom charges, which is like another 20% on top of that. Getting hold of one of these, unless it's for the right price, can prove pretty damn expensive. And it's one piece of gear that I really want in my life. It's a dream guitar for me to own, and it will stay on my list until the day that I finally get one. Now next up is a guitar that has never been on my radar for many years until very recently, and that is a Fender Strat. Now I've never been a Strat guy, never been a Tele guy, until probably about 5 years ago, and I started to sort of ease up a little bit and started to appreciate Fender for what they were. And my first guitar was actually a Squier Strat, and I absolutely hated it. I could not get on with it at all. I just didn't like it at all, and I almost quit playing guitar because of it. But I ended up getting myself an Epiphone Les Paul Standard because Slash plays one where he didn't play an Epiphone, but he plays Les Paul. And I almost quit guitar, but I thought even if I quit guitar, I'd love to own Les Paul, even just to hang on the wall, just because Slash owns one and plays one, and I'm a huge Guns N' Roses and Slash fan. So I got the Les Paul, and it just absolutely fit like a glove, and it made me keep playing guitar. So yeah, I'm kind of thankful that the Les Paul exists, because I may not be playing guitar if it didn't. But I kept my Squier Strat for many years. It basically sat and did nothing. It got torn apart, the pick guard got taken off, it just basically got smashed up. And yeah, it's in pretty rough shape, but I still own it. So as you can see, I've still got the guitar. It is in very rough shape, but like I say, it's just been sort of tossed around for like a decade or more. I'm going to fix this one up. I've got a pick guard, which is a single humbucker pick guard, to make it a pure sort of pop punk riffing machine. So far the restoration is going good. I've run into a few problems though. The pick guard, the holes aren't perfect. One of the pickup screws is loose, and the pickup that I got for it didn't work. So yeah, it's kind of taking a little bit of a setback, but I will be featuring this whole sort of mod process in a video very, very soon. I'm just waiting to get new parts shipped out, then I complete this build. But for now, still been using it with the pick guard that doesn't quite work, and the pickup, which is a Chinese one, which is pretty damn naff. But I've absolutely fallen in love with the Strat again. Like I said, I got this guitar when I was like 13, hated it, almost gave up playing guitar, started using it again because I wanted to Strat in my life. I just wanted to get one just to sort of round out the collection and get the different variations of sounds. And it turns out now as an adult, I absolutely love Strat. I have fallen in love with this guitar so much. So of course I want to add more to my collection. I would love to get a HSS Strat because obviously this is only single humbucker, but that was by choice. So I'm kind of missing the middle and the neck pickup, which obviously takes away a good variation of sounds you can get from a Strat. So I'd love to maybe get a HSS one in order to sort of fill out with different tonal possibilities I can get. I'd still go for the humbucker over single coil in the bridge, mainly because I play a lot of stuff like pop punk and rock, and generally single coils aren't that great for that sort of stuff. It doesn't really cut through in the mix, especially if you're the only guitarist in a band. So I feel, especially for the genres of music I play, a humbucker as a single guitarist is definitely essential when it comes to playing my type of music. So yeah, I'd get a HSS Strat, and I would love to own one, and maybe even a Telly at some point. I did own a Telly a good few years ago, but I got rid of it because, like I said, it only had a single coil in the bridge. Wasn't ideal for what I was playing in the band I was playing in. You couldn't hear it in the mix no matter how much you turn the amp up when we were playing jamming live and stuff like that, so I had to get rid of it. So yeah, I have fallen back in love with Strats. I didn't think I would, but I have, and now I need more of them in my life. Now you guys know that to make music, I pretty much use EZdrummer 2 by Toontrack on everything. It's a piece of gear which I could not live without. I could not make music without EZdrummer 2. Everything you've ever heard on this channel when it comes to playing music has been using EZdrummer 2. Everything that I've done for my band back to square one, using EZdrummer 2. I use it for everything, and I could not live without it as a musician. Now recently they released a brand new pop punk pack, which obviously as a pop punk guitarist is a dream come true. Now this was produced by John Fieldman, which is the singer in Goldfinger, which as you know is one of the biggest pop punk bands going, with some of the most iconic songs such as Superman. And this pack actually features Travis Barker from Blink-182's own kit, which is truly amazing, and this makes this an essential piece of gear for any pop punk guitarist and any pop punk recording musician out there like myself. Having the Travis Barker sound on your own songs is literally a dream come true for all of us, and we can now get it, or as good as get it, with Toontrack's EZdrummer 2 Pop Punk. So yeah, that is definitely a piece of gear that is high on my wish list right now. I would love to get it and get those new tonal sounds, and also all the MIDI that comes with it. Obviously, when I use EZdrummer 2, a lot of the time I use pre-made beats that are in EZdrummer 2 on the various packs that I own, and then I tweak them as needed. Sometimes I do write it from scratch, but a lot of the time I generally find a beat that suits it and then maybe tweak it as needed. So having all of those pop punk specific beats at my disposal would definitely help with creativity and create new songs. So yeah, that is definitely a piece of gear that is high on my wish list right now, and hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on it very, very soon. Now next up is the final guitar, well, bass guitar in this list that I am after, and that is a Fender P bass. Now I've always fancied the P bass. I have preferred it over the Jazz just from an aesthetic point of view. Something about it just screams pop punk. I know it's being used for many other genres as well, but some of my favourite pop punk bass players have been known to use it, and I think it's just such an iconic look for the pop punk genre, and I really dig it. And nowadays you see a lot of PJ basses, which is like a hybrid between the P and Jazz bass, which are awesome as well, and I'd love to get my hands on one of them. I think pretty much either a P bass or a Jazz bass. I think if I had the choice, a P bass is what I'd go for, but I definitely wouldn't turn my nose up at a Jazz bass as well. Currently I have a Schecter S1 bass. The S1 is one of my favourite guitars of all time. I've got the bass version of it, which I think is like a 98 or 99 model, and it is so nice. It's got mahogany body, it's got active EMG pickups, but it's got that mahogany body active sound to it, whereas obviously the Fender P and the Fender Jazz bass are the most iconic bass sounds ever, and I would love to get my hands on one and be able to add it to my arsenal, because it would definitely suit the style of music that we're playing, because like I've mentioned so many times in this video, I play pop punk primarily, so having that in my disposal would definitely help with that, and definitely make better sounding music as close to the genre. And it's just such an iconic guitar. Everyone should own a P or Jazz bass in my opinion, and hopefully that will happen to me very soon. Now finally, the one piece of gear that I am after more than anything in this world right now is the Headrush Geek Board or the Headrush Pedal Board, depending on the cost at the time of purchase. Now for many years I've been after the Avid 11 rack. It's been out for quite a few years now. I think it probably came out around 2010, 2011, maybe even sooner, I'm not entirely sure. But I found out around sort of 2012ish that DJ Ashbear, who once played in Guns N' Roses and currently plays in the bands like 6am, used an 11 rack to record their 6am album This Is Gonna Hurt, and I absolutely love DJ Ashbear as a musician. So when I found that out, I was like, I need to get an 11 rack, like I really want one of them. And I never ended up getting one, and then recently I discovered the Headrush, which is basically the 11 rack but a HD version of it, so it makes sense to sort of go for that one over the original 11 rack. And man, it sounds absolutely amazing. As you guys know, I am all about the digital gear. I don't actually own a real amp anymore. I just use stuff like Bias Effects to make music here on YouTube. But I think no matter how good software can get, I think it is always lacking from a hardware standpoint. I think it hasn't got that magic, it hasn't got that feel to it that a piece of hardware, even the digital piece of hardware, possesses. And that is why I want to get myself a hardware digital modeler, and the Headrush definitely ticks all the boxes for me. I recently watched a video where Tracy Guns from the band LA Guns showed off his Headrush, because that's what he uses live for his amp and all of his effects sounds, and he was playing it in a sort of rig rundown, and I was just like, man, that sounds absolutely amazing. I love the Marshall JSTM, the Marshall Plexitone, and basically for the past 4 or 5 years I've been on a never-ending quest to find the perfect digital Marshall JSTM or Plexitone, and I think without spending thousands of pounds on something like a Kemper or an Axe Effects, I think the Headrush is probably as good as I'm going to get, and it sounds absolutely amazing, especially considering the price. I've tried the Helix native plugin because I was wanting the Helix, and that thing just didn't gel with me at all. I did not like the Helix plugin at all, which means that I likely won't like the Helix itself. So I'm not going to go waste some money on a Helix, because in my opinion it sounds pretty damn terrible from the sounds I managed to get out of it. Now some people can get some amazing sounds, but for me personally it's definitely not for me. But the Headrush, from what I've heard so far, from reviews, from videos, from live performances, everything I've heard about the Headrush has been absolutely fantastic, and it's definitely a piece of gear that I want, because like I said, software is really good, but it's not quite hardware, and this is definitely the best I think I'm going to get without spending thousands upon thousands of pounds on something like an Axe Effects. Now whether I'd go for the gig board or the pedal board, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously the pedal board has got a lot more features to it, it's got a lot more controls, it's got a volume or wah pedal, it's got basically a foot switch, foot controller, but I would generally just use it on my desk anyway. I don't gig or anything, I pretty much just do this whole YouTube thing. So the foot pedal, although would be handy to have, isn't something that I get used to often, because like I say, it should be sat on my desk, and I've actually got OCD, so if I put my foot on any of these things, especially with shoes on, I would never touch these buttons in my hands again. So it's pretty much going to sit there. So I think either or would be fine. If I had the cash, I'd probably get the pedal board just for the extra features, but if not, everything that the pedal board can do, the gig board can do as well. So especially if you just get an external sort of foot controller, basically you can do everything you want with the gig board. So yeah, that is the one piece of gear that more than anything I am chasing right now. So right, that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let me know in the comments section if any of this pieces of gear that I want is also gear that you want, and also let me know the one piece of gear you were currently chasing in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video today, want to see more like this on the channel, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, click all. That way you'll never miss out on a video that goes live on the channel. And I also just want to apologise for the fact that there's barely been any uploads on this channel. I think I said at the back end of 2018 that I was going to upload a lot more frequently in 2019, and I haven't as of yet. I've only released just a couple of videos, but I've been super busy, whether it's with uni work, whether it's my gaming channel, which is doing pretty well at the minute. I'm sort of trying to grind that out a bit, or just life in general. I've been super busy. I've got lots of content kind of in the works. I've got some reviews that I'm currently doing. I've got my strap modification video that I'm currently doing. I've got some new covers and stuff like that. I've got loads of stuff planned, just nothing ready to release as of yet. And obviously, as time goes on, the days keep passing and there's no new content for you guys. So this is kind of like a stopgap to hopefully start putting out new content in the music channel, and hopefully this will keep spurring me on to keep continuing the new projects that I'm working on. But yeah, there's content coming, just there's nothing ready to go right now, but I promise it will be here very soon. So just stick around, make sure you're subscribing, make sure you like the videos, and don't worry, new videos will be on the channel very soon. I'll put links in the description box as well if you want to go and check out any of this gear that I've got my eye on. Maybe you can sort of check it out yourself, and maybe you might end up getting it as well. So I'll leave links in the description box down below. My name is Doodles. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.